you are an artist that has not only garnered the respect in the entertainment industry, but you haven't succumbed to the ways of the world. You have truly stayed and stayed on your path. So what do you believe, besides your mom, are the contributing factors to you locking in on your craft?
That's a great question, too. Come on, Natalie, with the questions. Making me think. You grow up being a child in adult environments, you're inevitably exposed to things that children should not be exposed to. Narcotics or being sexually harassed, or, there were moments that, God just, by the grace of God, he brought me out, right? And he said to me this morning as we were pulling up to school, he said, "Oh, I really don't feel like being here today." And I said to him, "Son, I know, I hear you. But it's these moments when you do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do that's going to make you great."
I realized that in order for God to release me into things that he's calling me to do, I first have to release certain things out of my life.
You've been given a gift, and it's your responsibility to take care of the gift, feed the gift, nurture the gift. But the gift is not actually you. It's something you are to be used by God for a bigger purpose.
I wanted something that I could watch that could say, oh, that's really how you identify purpose. Hey, let's talk about the journey.
I always say it, but I believe the greatest way to serve is to tell your story, and I'm humbled by the people that have said yes.
With all of that success, you're still responsible for the platform that God has given you.
Jurnee. We're doing this.
Finally.
You
didn't give up on me.
I did not give up on you. I circled the block. I am so grateful. I'm humbled by your yes. Truly. You are the epitome of greatness. Truly, in my opinion. And that's why I wanted to fully do this episode about greatness, because that is what you carry. You are a woman that is full of integrity, of purpose, of you use your voice for good. You use your voice for the marginalized. You speak up for the least of these. You are an incredible friend, but an even better mother. You are truly one of one. So
you're gonna make me cry.
Thank you. I want you to know that your flowers are being given to you. Your artistry has not only transformed you, but it transforms audiences when they watch your work. So thank you.
Come on,
Jurnee.
I love you.
So just
I
humbled.
received that, and
Please.
I thank you. And you've always been such a blessing in my life. And it's when friends become family.
Yes,
And
facts.
So
Yep.
what you're doing with this podcast is so inspiring, and it's such a gift to so many. And honestly, I didn't feel full enough to sit in this chair at each moment that you asked me. It was in moments when I felt very depleted or drained by circumstances and didn't feel steady enough, to be able to be truly used, right, and open.
Yeah.
So,
and thank you for yielding to that, because, I think that that's what this is. It's truly just to come as you are and pour what you can. But thank you for being ready now. We are here and let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Some know you from, you've been acting since you were 10 months old.
Yes.
Girl.
Yes.
Full House, Great Debaters, Friday Night Lights, Lovecraft Country. The list goes on and on and on. When did you know that this was a gift that God gave you to fulfill purpose in your life?
That's a great question. I have to say, from very early on, it was something that was instilled in me by my mother. Listen, anyone who comes within 10 feet of Jurnee Smollett knows that she's a force. And she, from very early on, would train us up to understand that you've been given a gift. And it's your responsibility to take care of the gift, feed the gift, nurture the gift. But the gift is not actually you. It's something you are to be used by God for a bigger purpose. And she would say all the time, we laugh, my siblings and I laugh about it now, but she would be like, God didn't put you on this earth to just go to the beach.
But come on, Janet, that's real. That's right. That's
and so many times there were moments when I think back as a kid where it's like, yeah, my peers might have had a different childhood, a different experience, a different walk, but she had us in the lab. And she had us practicing, and she had us studying the greats. She had us reading the biographies of the greats, of other artists, and studying art. Art was such a central part of my upbringing.
Yeah.
And she really did train me to believe that God is the ultimate artist.
Come on.
And God is the ultimate creator. And you go in nature, you go just walking around being, right? And this complex body that God has created. And that every single day we wake up, not because of our own earning. We wake up because God has put breath in our body, and he's decided for our heart to beat. And so she was constantly raising us with this awareness of it's bigger than you. Yeah. And there's a calling on your life, and how dare you not protect the gift.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Come on,
and
Janet.
So, I don't really know that there was a time in which I wasn't aware of a higher purpose.
Yeah. You always knew. So would you say that was the contributing factors, because you are an artist that has not only garnered the respect in the entertainment industry, but you haven't succumbed to the ways of the world. You have truly stayed and stayed on your path. So what do you believe, besides your mom, are the contributing factors to you locking in on your craft?
That's a great question, too. Come on, Natalie, with the questions. Making me think.
Yeah, I need you to think. And I know it's in there.
Okay. Sparking something inside. Just so y'all know, I don't know how serious this conversation is going to be.
This is us. I love it. I
but you better come.
Got to.
Okay, no. The question was so good, I forget it. Repeat it.
Because, oh my gosh, I love you so much. I'm so happy now. Because of what you just said about your mom.
Right.
You have been an artist that has garnered the respect in this industry.
Oh, how have I not? Yes. Yes. How have I essentially been in the world, but not of the world? It is, again, I think it's a number of factors. I can't take credit for it. 100% God has protected me. While I've been in situations, yes, I've been tempted. I've been around things. You grow up being a child in adult environments. You're inevitably exposed to things that children should not be exposed to, whether it's narcotics or being sexually harassed, or, there were moments that, God just, by the grace of God, he brought me out, right? And I do sit here proudly as someone who's never tried one drug in my life, Wow. And no judgment on folks who have different walks, but my walk has been that. And I think selfishly, I didn't want anything to damage the instrument. I was blessed to grow up in this village of artists and activists.
Yep.
And my mom really had us study the greats. And I was so interested in folks like Judy Garland and Katharine Hepburn and Cicely Tyson and, Spencer Tracy, all these legendary actors. And I would study how did they get to there?
Yeah.
And one of the patterns I noticed is distractions. How do you handle distractions? And how do you handle things that really get you off your path? And that is what is going to separate the good from the great. Because we all have the potential, and it's something my mom would always say, we all have the potential to be great. We're all made in the image of God, right? And so God wants us to try to pursue perfection. We ain't ever going to be perfect.
No.
Not in this lifetime. But the idea of pursuing our best self, right? Pursuing that has always been something she talked about. And so growing up in this village of artists and activists, like Samuel L. Jackson and Alfre Woodard and LaTanya Richardson Jackson, and they, kept pulling my tail and checking me, but also keeping me focused on, no, you got to read that book. No, you got to go see that play Jurnee. It's incredible at the Geffen. Go do this and go do that. Or, being involved early on in a certain level of activism and doing nonprofit work. It just helped me understand that, if I have an instrument, if I put certain things in that instrument, it's going to affect that instrument. It's like athletes. I gain most inspiration outside of my spiritual life. Most of my inspiration comes from artists and athletes.
You love sports.
Girl, I love
Jurnee
sports.
is very competitive, y'all. She loves sports, loves basketball.
I love, and I've always, I have 4 brothers, and while I didn't play professionally, or I wasn't even in Little League, the boys were in Little League.
Sure.
But I always loved the idea of Michael Jordan. How do you become that?
Yeah.
When Kobe Bryant talks about the 4 a.m. wake ups to get in the gym and have workouts, 2 workouts sometimes prior to everyone else coming and working out.
Yep.
Like, these little nuggets have always stayed with me of like, how do you stay focused?
Yeah.
And how do you just not get distracted?
Yeah. I think that's so good. So there was an interview that you did probably a year or so ago.
Okay.
Where you
What did I say?
You illuminated, which I thought it was so good, not only for artists, but humanity in general. You were saying that being a great artist, there's a cost. The sacrifice, the level of surrendering. Oh, yeah. You said that you have to lay everything on the altar. You said your mind, your body, your soul, and your spirit, you have to lay on the altar. And when I think of that, I think of too much is given, much is required.
Come on.
Or when I think of that, I think of, okay, to the level of surrender. So at which level that we surrender is technically equates to the level in which we trust God. Right? So for you, what have you had to surrender and lay on the altar for your craft?
It depends on the project, really, and depends on the season I'm in my life. Prior to having a son, it was a different sort of sacrifice.
Yep.
There were different things I could lay on the altar. Now, being a mom to a young little boy, it's complex, right? Because it's not the sacrifice isn't just being asked of me. It's also being asked of him now, because he's an extension of me. While there's great privileges that I have and he has, and I'm providing a life for him that I never had, that no one in my lineage ever had. You got to know, like, my grandmother was a Black woman from the South who was a single mom to 4 children, all with different fathers, who cleaned the homes of white folks.
Yeah, it's real.
My grandmother, I'm her wildest dreams. I never got to meet her, but I know that if she were alive, she wouldn't be able to fathom the kind of life that I can give to my son, right? And so, the sacrifice is deep, it's wide, it's very profound, but it's necessary. I think back to moments when I was a kid. I remember Halloween, and the irony of this, my son is born on Halloween.
Oh, he is. You're right, Hunter.
Yeah. So Hunter's born on Halloween. But I remember one Halloween, I was 8 years old, and my siblings and I had this TV show called On Our Own. And there was an episode I had to do where I had to play the guitar and sing-ish. I wasn't that great, but I was 8,
You still did it.
And I wanted to be the best I could be, right? And I loved the guitar. My oldest brother, Jojo, played it, and we used to rock out to like Nirvana and stuff like that. And I remember the scene was going to be shot the next day. This is Halloween. There was absolutely no way I was going trick-or-treating that night. And I could hear the other kids in the neighborhood. I could see them outside the window, dressed up and stuff like that. there was absolutely no way I was going trick-or-treating. I was in the lab trying to learn these chords. And whether or not I actually on the day was flawless, I was not, But I
you committed.
think that muscle of dedication and discipline is what, helped me along my path. And it's what I'm trying to instill in my son now. I mean, just this morning, I dropped him off to school. And Thursdays are hard because today he has school, then he has baseball practice, and then he has math class.
Oh, that's a lot.
It's a lot. And I have him in math class because, the charter school in,
It's a little tricky.
It's not as challenging and he's really gifted in math. And so I'm trying to really feed into that gift. And he said to me this morning as we were pulling up to school, he said, "Oh, I really don't feel like being here today." And I said to him, "Son, I know, I hear you. But it's these moments when you do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do that's going to make you great."
Jurnee. That is it right there. That is
I
it
can't
right
take credit
there.
for that saying. Denzel Washington is the one who told me that saying.
But still.
but that is what I'm saying, that village that I grew up with, of these artists who constantly poured into me and constantly reminded me, no, it's going to take you sacrificing this. And you're not going to necessarily be off on your birthday. You're not necessarily last year I was shooting this TV show in Vancouver most of the year.
Yeah, I remember.
For Apple TV called Smoke.
Okay.
And we were shooting 16, 17-hour days. I'm co-parenting, so I'm bringing Hunter back and forth from Vancouver to LA to see his dad. And my niece turned 10. My niece turned 10. And I was like, I went to the production and I said, "Yo, I can't miss her birthday." And they said, "We can give you the actual day off." I said, "So I can't get the day off before or the day after?" Cool. Okay. So, day before, shot a good 17 hours, got on the first flight out, up at 4 a.m. to get on that first flight, dragging Hunter with me, and landed, went to my niece's birthday party and left early. I beat her in the swimming competition.
Of course you did. Told y'all she's competitive, very.
But left around 3 or 4 in the afternoon to go back to the airport to get back on set at 6 a.m. the next day. And the life I live, I'm at a point where the sacrifices are still pretty wide, but I'm also now at the point that the sacrifices are starting to pay off, and it's providing a level of privilege. I didn't used to be able to go to production and ask for a day off.
I was just about to say that. That is not normal. Yes.
Right. It's a constant awareness of the cost, right? And yes, when I'm creating a character, every single thing has to be presented in sacrifice to the altar. Every memory, every experience, everything. One of my coaches, she talks often about this idea of blood memory. I am the daughter of a Black woman from the South and a Jewish man from New York whose people come from Eastern Europe.
Sure.
Ashkenazi. And so my people have been through some things. And DNA has memory.
So good, Jurnee.
And so when I'm creating these characters, you don't think I'm bringing my grandmother to this? You don't think I'm bringing my great-grandfather to this? I am. It's in my DNA. It's in that memory in my blood, And so one of my teachers once told me that my vulnerability is my superpower.
Yes, it is.
Because if I can feel it, then you can feel it.
Yes.
If I am courageous enough to say, here I am.
Yes.
This is the truth of this character. Let me lend my blood, my flesh, and my spirit to give her spirit. Then that might make you feel a little less alone.
Yeah. So
how many times have you watched something or read a book or heard someone's story on a podcast and you could relate to it? You could empathize to it. You felt a little more understood. Therefore, you felt a little less alone, right? And so that is really, if that is a part of the mission, and I do believe it is, how dare I complain about the sacrifice?
That part right there. And going back to the difference between a good actor and a great actor. You talked about the focus, maintaining the focus. What else do you feel like distinguish between a good actor and a great actor?
I think there's a number of factors, training and the ability to continue to grow. I'm someone that I still work with a lot of coaches. I still take class. I'm still hungry to get better. Every role is an opportunity for me to do something I haven't done, for me to unearth something inside of myself that I might have been trying to cover. I really think it's courage to allow your heart to break on screen. It's the courage to be used as a vessel.
Yeah.
Look, we all have the censor in our head. We all do. We hear things that people have said negatively about us. We repeat it in the morning when we wake up, when we look in the mirror. Oh, I look tired. Oh, my skin is this. Oh, my body is this. Whatever those things are that we've been told about ourselves. You got to fight that off as an artist.
How do you fight it off? How do you distinguish between a lie and a truth that comes in your mind?
Great question, because the camera doesn't lie.
Yeah, because it's hard.
The camera will see if an actor is lying, right? And so you have to be able to go and unearth the truth. So I do a lot of different things, I've talked about this before with you, the artist way, Julia Cameron, that book is something that I religiously go back to before every project.
Yeah.
Doing artist dates, journaling, the morning pages. I'm a big believer in journaling.
Yeah.
Journaling, not just about the censor. That is important, getting those thoughts onto the page. You can see, oh, that's a lie. Okay, I'm crazy. I'm spiraling. This is my anxiety talking. It's my anxious brain, or this is that casting director I sat in front of when I was 13 years old and she said I was nothing. That's that part.
So good.
Trying to really decipher what is my flesh and what is the spirit, because again, going back to how do you be in the world and not of the world, right? We live in a world where we're so self-aware. Realistically, I don't think we've evolved enough to see ourselves as much as we see. We see ourselves in mirrors. We see ourselves through social media. We see ourselves in pictures and photographs, selfies. Oh, that angle ain't cute.
Right, right, yep.
I don't think our brain has actually evolved and caught up to the amount of images we take in of ourselves.
Yeah.
But death for an actor, at least, is being so self-aware.
That's good.
Viola Davis talks about this a lot, where it's like, okay, it's cute, to put on the makeup and the hair and, do all this for this or for the red carpet. The second you step on that set, you cannot worry about this.
Mommy keeps stabbing herself in the kitchen. Show her your hands, Mama.
I think you better hush.
And where's Daddy? He's never home. He's supposed to be home sometimes.
I got potato chips. What kind? Sour cream and onion.
I'm an ugly crier. I know this about myself.
No, you're not.
No, when I
Jurnee.
cry, it's like a vein pops out here. But if I'm actually thinking about that, it's death. It's death. I can't connect. I can't connect to the core emotion that I'm trying to communicate in that moment.
Yeah.
I can't allow my heart to break. If I'm concerned about the camera angles or, it's a hard thing to battle against.
Yeah, it is.
I think particularly hard for women.
Yeah.
Because just in general in society, we're bred from a little girl, from very young, to be so self-aware and really judge our physical appearances so harshly, right?
And I feel like that would be probably fear of perception as well. And so because I do believe you are someone that exudes greatness and have positioned yourself to be great. A lot of us in the world have a desire to be great at whatever we do. We have a desire for God to fulfill the purpose in our lives. But in all reality, we think that we are waiting on God, but he is waiting on us. And with that, historically speaking, from my own experiences, I realized that in order for God to release me into things that he's calling me to do, I first have to release certain things out of my life, whether it be fear of perception, fear of being misunderstood, whether it be people pleasing, whether it be bitterness, offense, anger, rage, whatever it is. What have you had to undo or come out of agreement with that has positioned you for your greatness?
I think we're all a work in progress. So the answer to that question today is going to be completely different than the answer was even a year ago. I feel like I'm in a constant rebirth. Every single time I finish a project, for instance, I feel like I've given so much. I have to go and fill up the well. I have to get very quiet. I have to go into my cocoon in order to become a butterfly again, right? I have to go to the museum, or I have to fill myself up with art. I have to rest. But going back to your question, I think probably one of the biggest struggles I've had in my life that sometimes has gotten in the way of God really being able to use me for a higher purpose is being a people pleaser. You know that.
Yep.
You know that. Yep. It's easier for me to serve others than it is for me to serve myself. It's easier for me to care for others. It's easier for me to advocate for others. Finding that voice that goes, no, I need this. No, I need you to service this. It's been a real work in progress for me. The value of saying, I don't want to.
And it's so hard. It's so hard.
And it's interesting because it's a constant test, I find. And the plot just gets thicker.
Yep. Yes, it does.
You think, oh, I'm getting good at this. And then you have a child.
And then they reflect everything in you.
Yep. Yeah. And you know what they say about raising children? You're really just raising your inner child.
Period. And that's why it can be challenging at times. It can be there's always a tension point because you are confronting yourself.
Yes. And so now I'm at a stage with Hunter because, I found early on I was killing myself trying to be everything to everyone. And him included, and I'm like, okay, I nursed him until he was 3 years old.
Yeah, you did.
In between doing fight scenes on Lovecraft Country and
yes,
Birds of Prey,
you did.
I'm going pumping or nursing this child. He's asleep on set in the trailer. And I'm like, okay, we doing night shoots, but I got to go and put him down real quick. Misha, hold on. I got to go put Hunter down, Yes. And so while, yes, again, having privilege and having help and I still was going, no, I got to do it. No, I got to do it all. And found actually during COVID that I was just so dead inside. I had given so much to everyone else that I didn't have anything left to give to me.
Yeah.
And that's not the child's fault because the child, it actually had nothing to do with Hunter.
No.
Hunter was just another conduit of me trying to go, I'm enough, right? You see how much I'm doing for you, right? And that seeking that validation from a 4-year-old, right?
You just
Where it's
said
like,
something big right there.
dude, I got no more Baby Shark in me right now.
Not only do I have no more Baby Shark, I have no more Dora. I have no more Peppa Pig. I don't have it.
And feeling okay
Mm.
to say to even my son, baby, mommy just needs some time right now to herself. Took so long. And now you're going to make me cry.
I was about to cry because that was me yesterday with me, Joe. And I felt it. I was like, okay, I know I got to prep for today. I got certain things, but I could feel she's on spring break right now. Like I told you.
And you got mom guilt.
Got mom guilt.
Yeah.
But I literally told her this morning, she went in the prayer closet with me this morning. She woke up, usually I'd go like 5:30, but she woke up with me. I was like, I'm preparing for today. Let's just sit and pray. And God was like, this is enough. This is enough. But for me as a mom, I'm thinking, oh my God, I've been gone. I haven't been attentive. I've been a little bit more snappy than normal because I'm tired. I'm overstimulated. I got a lot going on. But they're still looking at you like, what about me? And so, but to your point of like giving yourself grace, giving yourself that
being
grace
kind to yourself.
and knowing it's okay. It's okay. They're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Do all that you can do.
So
thank you for sharing
and allowing them to see you vulnerable.
Yeah.
I find is actually a gift.
Yep.
Allowing him to see, no, mommy's not a superhero.
Yeah.
I'm not Superwoman. I actually get stressed sometimes, Hunter.
Yeah.
And I think that might be a difference in our generation. Growing up, I thought of my mom almost like a god, if I'm being real, when I was a kid, And then you go through this period where you're like, wait, my parents are human beings.
Right.
They're
you
mortal.
crazy too. You got issues too.
Yeah. And
you
then
are
that
yes.
is
It's freeing. It's liberating to you because I don't have to be, because my parents are superheroes.
yes.
But
Yes.
you're just human just as I am. You're
Yes.
just flawed just as I am.
Right. But you going into the prayer closet or us saying, this is what I need, is actually teaching them and giving them tools to navigate their own stuff when they're an adult.
Come on.
Right. And them knowing I'm not a weirdo because I'm hurt or I'm broken or I'm stressed or I'm overwhelmed.
Yep.
No, because I saw my parents do it and this is how they navigated through it. And there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh,
actually is a gift to them.
Yeah. No, you're right. It is. And I think that that's where the enemy, the adversary, will want to come, speak those lies. But going back to what you said, let's journal it out. Oh, that's what that is. Oh, that came from that. You know what I mean? And I had to process that this morning.
And it's interesting too, because my mom had 6 kids and she would always, she never let anyone watch us. Wow. And we got to an age where we were all helping each other out. There were the 3 older ones and then us 3 younger ones. And I always had that standard in my head. But the difference that I had to come to grips with was that I'm a working mom, and this standard I had in my head, I was constantly comparing myself to my mother. I was like, no, but she did it this way.
Yep.
No,
Same.
like I can't let anyone else watch Hunter.
Yeah.
I can't, or man, it was real work.
Yep.
And it's still a constant work in progress to not have mom guilt. Cause,
I think it will forever be there, but it's just the way we respond to it.
Being kind to ourselves.
Yeah.
Nat.
Switching gears a bit, but back to Denzel. Back to Denzel, one of the greats and one of your mentors.
Yes. Yeah.
And you mentioned a while back in another interview that one of the greatest pieces of advice that he has given you was to simply trust your instinct. Pragmatically speaking, for you, when I hear trusting your instinct, I hear trusting God, hearing from God, trusting the discernment within us. For you, what does that look like to actually hear from God?
I mean, I think it depends the situation. I feel God speaks to me in the most random ways. It could be a little nudge of a rainbow that I see that now reminds me so much of my father who passed away when we were during the funeral of my dad. All day long, I kept saying to God, okay, give me a sign, God. In the morning, I kept being like, give me a sign, like just tell me. It was raining. I was like, just give me a sign that it's all gonna be okay. My relationship with my father, we don't have to. But long story short, we were estranged most of my life.
Yeah.
And then once I became like 26, we reconnected and started working on, healing that. And 2 years later, he passed away. And when he passed away, I just couldn't, I was so angry at God. I was like, really, dog? Like, what's good?
Like, how are you going to do this now?
Why? Like, the healing was, I didn't understand it. And I was angry that the world was continuing to go on. Like when you lose someone, I just remember driving on the freeway that morning when he passed, being like, so y'all all going to work?
Yo, that right there. Like, wait, so life doesn't stop right now?
Genuinely being upset.
Sure. That's
that
so
my
real.
agent had called me to tell me about a project.
And you're like,
underground, actually, it was. And I was genuinely upset because I was like, but doesn't the entire world know I'm in pain right now?
I'm grieving right now.
I just want to be left alone and the world should stop. And so leading to the morning of the burial and stuff, I remember going outside just being like, God, just give me a sign, right? Just give me a sign. And later on, during the actual ceremony, the rain had stopped and I looked up and there was a rainbow. And so from now on, whenever I see a rainbow, I feel like God is telling me.
That's beautiful. I'm here.
The sun will come out tomorrow. There is a tomorrow. And so, I feel like for me, in the conversation with the higher spirit, it's just important to be quiet. It's important to really free yourself of the distractions, which is why I'm sometimes I'm like, my cell phone's in the closet.
Yep.
Y'all, I know
I'll talk to y'all in a month.
I got to get quiet right now. I think just we're creating in our society so much noise. Yeah. It's sometimes just hard to hear God because there's so much other noise in our head. Social media, conversations, gossip, the news. I mean, I just got to get quiet.
Yeah, same. Lovecraft Country. Child, all I gotta say is that scene with the bat and you coming out and ready. I mean, Jurnee. That was one of your most stellar performances, in my opinion. And as we know, it did not get renewed, which is not even a loss for us, but just a loss for culture, a loss for the business in general. In those moments in your artistry, how do you not allow that to affect the way that you look at your art?
Well, thank you for that.
Yes.
I love doing that scene. We did it in 3 takes because we didn't have enough.
You only did that 3 takes?
Yeah, we didn't have,
So which one did they take? Because the one that they got, was that like the second one?
It's a bunch of cameras.
Yes, right.
So they tell you beforehand,
right?
We have 3 sets of windows.
Got it. Okay.
For you to break.
Okay.
So we can only do it 3 times.
Okay.
And I was like, bet. I love those moments because I'm just like,
right.
The inner athlete, the inner warrior's got to come out. Let's go.
Let's go.
There's no room for mistakes.
And it's such a stellar performance. And I think that's why it's important. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. It's like, when we feel that sense of maybe level of rejection or level of maybe not approval from other people or looking for that external result or that external approval, it can sometimes mess with us. And so what was your bounce back in that moment when you realized, oh, Lovecraft Country is not coming back? Like, what you mean?
See, I'm not someone that ever thinks anything is guaranteed.
Mm.
No matter how successful it is, no matter how many 19 Emmy Award nominations it gets, I'm never someone that in general thinks, oh, this is a guarantee. I go and I do my job, I keep my head down, and I focus on my work because that is all I can control. You know, there's something my mom would always say is there's the business and there's the show. The show business. There's a business aspect to it. And sometimes there are things that have nothing to do with me or any of the art or any of the creative process. It's a business. And that's a bunch of people being people, right? So I'm able to find peace.
That's great.
In general. I don't think I'd last in this business as long as I have if I wasn't able to compartmentalize the two and know, okay, action and cut. That's me. That's my responsibility. That's on me. If I don't deliver a performance, okay, then that's on me. But outside of action and cut, you know, I have to surrender to what actually is meant to be. Not everything's meant to be for a season. Not everything's meant to be for a lifetime. There's a reason.
Yeah.
You know, I may not understand it in that moment. I may not agree with it in that moment, but it's absolutely not going to disturb my peace.
Yeah.
You know, I have a long list of goals and where I'm going. And there is no amount of horsepower or manpower that can stop the calling I know God has on my life. And that's not me being conceited. That's literally just me knowing what God has told me, right? And so, yeah, sometimes things don't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
But I can still maintain my peace in those moments because I trust truly that what is meant to be will absolutely be.
You better preach, Jurnee. That is a word. Okay, we're about to wrap up, but I believe we all have a solution to bring to the world. What solution do you believe that you are called to bring to the world?
You know, when you ask that, the first thing that comes to mind is this incredible talk by James Baldwin on the integrity of an artist. And if you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and listen to it. And I'm going to paraphrase him, so I might butcher it. But when he talks about the integrity of an artist, he says something to the effect that it's a force you didn't ask for. And yet it's a destiny you must accept. And that if you don't lie, if you don't cheat, you're not only your glory, you're almost our only hope. Because only an artist, and only an artist can tell, or has told since the history of humankind, what it's like to come to this earth and survive it.
Come on.
And so it's something I think about a lot of like, yeah, I've been in front of the camera technically since I was 10 months old. Arguably, someone could say, well, how did you choose this? But I had to continuously choose it over and over and over because it was actually choosing me.
Oof.
I had no real choice in it. I do, but if I'm going to walk in my calling, I don't.
Yeah.
Right? And so I just want to be a mirror.
Yeah.
Hold a mirror up to society and reflect truth back to it.
Yeah.
And if I don't cheat, if I don't lie, if I, continue to stay on the path that God has for me, I believe that God will continue to use me as a vessel for change.
And he has, and he will continue to do it.
Thank
Lastly,
you.
what brings you joy?
Oh, so many things. So many things. Watching Hunter play sports. He and I we play basketball or baseball together. And I ain't that good. And
But you still try.
Girl, he's starting to get to an age where he can point out how I'm not good.
No, he's done.
It's
Hunter.
rude. Because he's starting to get good.
Right, sure.
And he's only
sure.
8, but he's starting
Yeah.
to get good. And so he's
Yeah.
starting to do his little Steph Curry moves. And I'm
Yep.
like, whatever. Still gonna steal this ball. from you.
Exactly. Still gonna win.
I find so much joy in nature. I'm a real nature person. I will go just standing in grass barefoot and meditating or being in water. Water brings me so much joy and calm. The mountains, art continuously.
Yeah.
And trying to get better every day,
Yeah.
every single day. I've been teaching myself how to play the piano.
Really?
Yeah. You gotta come over.
I know.
I'll play you some songs. I got some things up my sleeve.
Okay.
I could play a little Moonlight Sonata.
No, come on,
A little
Jurnee.
Adele. I could play.
Wow, I'm coming. I'm
Come
coming.
on, we'll sing. We'll do a little
Aw.
karaoke.
Oh,
But
I
yeah,
love it.
I think we are all so privileged to be alive in this moment and
Come on.
being alive now.
Yeah.
And sometimes the world feels like it's falling apart around us.
Yeah.
But as we know, as we say, finding our joy is a radical act.
Yes.
And so being intentional, being grateful, writing my 6 things every night that I'm grateful for. My family, cooking, my partner, my love, love, finding ways to love and be loved.
Yeah.
Is really ultimately what brings me the most joy.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you for
you.
being here. Thank you for pouring out your heart, your wisdom. I am cheering you on. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of just the purpose that God has placed on your life, and you answer it so fearlessly. I appreciate you. I honor you, sis. Thank you so much.
My girl.
My